If y'all put the same effort in like making a man happy as you did like trying to catch him fucking up, this world would be a great place.
That's a bar.
Man.
For those of you guys who don't know, that is Mr. Carlos from the 85 South Show. He drops gems from time to time, but he said if women put as much effort into making a man happy as they do trying to catch him fucking up, the world would be a better place. What say you, brother?
Man, the first thing that comes to mind, I think, is something I may have heard from you. It's about the woman's intuition. We have this trope or this idea, this saying, the women's intuition. She knows if he's cheating. She knows in her gut if he's doing dirt. Like her intuition is going to let her know, but that same intuition is not in tune enough to let her know when he's not happy, when he's with her about something. Right. So this tracks right in line with that. To me, it's just it's self-fulfilling prophecy. You're gonna find what you're looking for in a couple ways. Like obviously in that relationship, if you go dig long enough, you can find and create something, whether it's really there or not. But also by way of being and you resonating on that type of frequency, you're attracting the type of men into your life more than likely.
I suspect that I'm getting cheated on, so I just took off my necklace and I'm gonna put it right here. If a girl comes in his car and sits in the passenger seat and drops this, it's gonna fall right on her lap.
But if you think she's being delulu, you're wrong, because her boyfriend is acting super suspicious.
Towards like 1 a.m., like towards like midnight, his phone's always on Do Not Disturb and he doesn't text me back for like an hour.
But to her surprise, instead of finding a serial cheater, she discovered something even messier.
If anybody gets in this car and this drops on them, he is my boyfriend and we've been dating for 3 years, so let me know and send me that hey girly text.
Turns out her boyfriend really was cheating on her. But the worst part is, the side chick left something for her to see.
That's going to be an issue because of something in your past, and you're just going to keep continuing in a cycle, attracting that over and over and over again until something in you changes. So, I'm a pretty firm believer that life isn't happening to you; it's responding to you, and we're all sowing and reaping all of the time. And there's something that you're sowing in your energy, as a woman, that's putting you in a situation where you have these high levels of paranoia, to seek out him doing some dirt, and you'll find it because that's probably kind of man you attracted as well. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this. I'm interested to hear what you pick up from it.
And I've said it before, I think this is the first time in history where women and men are going to have to actually get to know each other. In times past, our relationship has been transactional, and it's been dependent on certain covenants, certain agreements. Men do X, women do Y. Men of today, women of today are saying that they no longer want to be defined by these things. So with that being said, I think women are going to have to start to get to know who men are outside of simply how men serve women.
Oh, thank you. Look at you, think you slick.
You ready for a good time?
Yeah, you gonna open the door for me?
I'm literally doing it right now.
Yeah, as you should. Thank you.
Oh.
What?
Let me check out something real quick.
Where you going?
Something in my spirit. Look at God.
I thought we was going to dinner. Hello, JB. Wow.
And I think because this is a major transition, I think a lot of women still struggle with that. So it's easier to simply assume the worst, go off of what grandma and your bitter aunties told you men were, and prepare yourself, I guess, fortify yourself for that reality. And part of who our women in particular have been told that Black men are untrustworthy and cheaters. Everything in the book that validates this idea of, feeling the need to supervise Black men, which I think, that on its own is another conversation. But like, I think that's the reason. And because of that, you're more worried about the outside world and, other women's potential desire for your man, that you're not performing to the best of your ability. And I think, we're at a point of reckoning And you know, I'm excited and kind of concerned to see how that turns out. I was watching a video the other day. A brother brought up that women are complaining that, you know, when they sit on trains or they sit on buses, men aren't standing up. You know, men aren't chivalrous anymore. And he brought up a good point. He said, you know, chivalry in a very real way was a byproduct, was a companion of misogyny.
There's no statute of limitations on chivalry.
That's gendered and sexist.
And polite.
And patronizing.
And polite.
Right. Chivalry assumes that women are the weaker gender. Chivalry assumes that women need protection. Chivalry assumes that women need to be covered by a man. And misogyny also has some of those assumptions. It's the misogyny is the bad face of what chivalry is, and chivalry in a way is the good face of what misogyny is. And I think there's been like an a la carting happening, like women want the good without the bad. And unfortunately, that's not how things work, right? So I'm excited about the prospect of us renegotiating, right? Because if we're expected to give and take, they should also be expected to give and take. So we might arrive at a place where, you know, the expectations men have of women, women have of men are more equitable. That's what makes me excited. Am I convinced that that's necessarily going to be where we go? Not necessarily. So
In Manhattan?
Central Park West?
South.
Done. Time spent together.
8 hours, 5 days a week.
7 hours, 12 hours weekends.
55 hours aggregate, specifics to be determined later.
I'm amenable to that. Children.
1.
3.
2.
Done. But one of them has to be a male.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, it's important, like, right? Patriarchy. You forgot definite article D, right? It's the patriarchy.
Right. The patriarchy.
The patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
The patriarchy of sexism certainly makes distinctions between the sexes, which we all know at our core. Hence the root of women complaining about men not giving up their seats. Well, why would we if there isn't a difference in the sexes, right? So sexism, which is, you know, making a discrimination. You know, discriminating mean understanding differences between the genders, which leads us to patriarchy, which also encompasses chivalry. They're all interconnected, right? And misandry is outside of that, right? I think it's so interesting. Think of these words that are tossed around all the time: the patriarchy and sexism, and chivalry is dead. Those three are interconnected. The opposite of that is actually misandry, treating us as if we're the same, and not recognizing the difference in weakness versus strength, right? The power dynamic between the sexes. That actually, if we operated that way, is actually showing a disdain for them. It's not a care, because when you really understand and unpack chivalry, it had more to do than just with the women. Like how did those in the feudal system knights treat their horses, right? How did they treat anybody that was of lesser and lesser power or status than them? It was a complete code of conduct. Sure. And so I think those are some important distinctions to make in the language. For the men watching, if we can leave some kind of like, you know, nugget of wisdom or takeaway from the Carlos Miller video. Unfortunately, a lot of guys, and we've talked about this, a lot of us have been socialized to not expect much from women, not expect much by way of reciprocity, not expect much by way of behavior, right? We say things like, oh, they're women. Oftentimes when we say that, we're doing it to dismiss some immaturity, some misbehavior, et cetera, et cetera. And I would challenge us to be more mindful of these things and to have more respect for ourselves, right? Because unfortunately, I think part of the reason why women, as we complain about all the time, remain the way that they are is because they have the latitude, they have the space, right? Because we don't expect much from them.
Women make men work for sex. They are not just handing sex out on street corners to all interested parties. Women demand that men be sufficiently attractive, which could take years of hard work, that they engage her emotions and demonstrate authentic interest for the person inside her body, and buy her drinks and meals and make an effort and wait until she feels ready, etc., etc. Men often do not make women work for investment. Men are offering women relationships, resources, attention, and commitment on a silver platter. Men will jump through their own butts trying to give a woman what they think she wants in order to secure a sexual relationship with her. They surrender the duties and privileges of gatekeeping the relationship in their unwillingness to potentially jeopardize the sexual opportunity.
That in itself, for me, is the real misogyny, is the deeply held belief that women are children, the deeply held belief that women are intellectually inferior, but somehow emotionally superior. Like, I think that's misogyny. And I think that's what creates the space for the way that we coddle, the way that we absolve the innocence until proven guilty that we ascribe to women immediately just because they are maternal and all that good stuff. And I think that as we become more familiar, as we're forced to be now, with the nature of who women actually are, with who people actually are, I think we can become more realistic with our expectations and move in a direction that's actually equitable, and that we can enforce expectations and boundaries on them, just like they should enforce expectations and boundaries on us. Hey, if you've made it all the way to the end, please click that like and subscribe button. Also share this with somebody that you think would gain value from it. Click the thumbnail at the top if you want the full video. Click the thumbnail at the bottom if you want a video that's closely related to this. Again, like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching. Check out some more of our content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.